Released by Procyon in 2001 on the PlayStation 2, Legaia 2 Duel Saga would be an unrelated sequel to Legend of Legaia. Directed by Natsumi Arisawa and written by Kazushige Inaba, the game would refine and expand the combo-based martial arts combat system and feature new world characters and plotlines separate from the first game. The story only gets larger from here, so let's cut it down to size with a recapitation. As the game begins, we meet Lang, a 17-year-old swordsman with an odd birthmark on his chest who joins the local militia of his hometown of Null. Among their responsibilities is protecting the Aqualith, a blue magic stone that constantly produces pure fresh water that sustains the village and surrounding land. After proving himself in combat for his first day on the job, Lang has a vivid dream that night of a lynch mob hunting down certain people called mystics. As they kill anyone with a strange mark, Lang looks over to see a young man with gold eyes and an odd mark on his hand as the murderous mob spots Lang and his birthmark, calling him a mystic and moving in to mercilessly cut him down. The next day, a stranger in the woods attacks one of the townsfolk, and retaliating, the militia mobilizes, but as Lang catches up, he sees them all helplessly struck down by an opposing man with gold eyes and an odd mark on his hand. The stranger blows away Lang, revealing he possesses the pure embodiment of power called an Origin. Noticing Lang has a similar mark and reveals they are both members of the mystic race. Lang recognizes the stranger as the young man from his nightmare as the stranger asks about the Aqualith and learns its location by reading Lang's thoughts. He reveals with all the sacred stones in hand he can eliminate the old race, and though Lang objects, the Origin behind the stranger named Igol strikes down Lang with a fatal blow, telling his partner Lang possesses Legaia and could be an obstacle to them. Lang blacks out while hearing a voice call out to him as he wakes up in his home 5 days later with no visible injuries on him somehow. He soon learns the stranger that attacked him indeed stole the Aqualith and makes up his mind to pursue him and get it back. Following the trail of a stranger, Lang is soon met by an odd pair of siblings, Elliot and Marianne, who are mystics searching for other mystics, and after identifying Lang as one, they gleefully share the world will soon be purged of humans to pave the way for a paradise for mystics. However, the pair have a sadistic streak, choosing to test Lang in combat as Lang sees they also have origins aiding them. Seeing Lang has no origin of his own, they doubt his legitimacy, choosing to beat him down instead and take him prisoner, torturing him further within Doplin Castle. A bishop named Doplin enters, stating Lang is a mystic, repeating that mystics are messengers of the gods here to bring an eternal paradise to the world. Elliot and Marianne wish to train him as a slave, but Doplin says he cannot be damaged before they bring him before someone called Avalon, the greatest mystic and wielder of the supreme origin. When he comes to, Lang is in a cell with a 14-year-old girl named Maya who heals his wounds with magic but is unable to speak. She reveals her life origin Revis, who confirms Lang is a mystic, but the young warrior denies harboring any sort of monster within him. All the same, he sets to escaping, taking Maya with him, breaking past the knights in their way and hiding out in the castle town below. A friendly restaurant proprietress helps hide them away, always suspecting Doplin was doing shady things in his castle, and one of many who openly hate him and his corruption. As soon as Lang says he is looking for the man with gold eyes, Maya points to a map for the location of the answer. Guiding Lang there, Maya takes him to the home of an older warrior she knows called Kazan, who comments how something is poisoning the land, revealing he is a mystic with an earth origin called Deva. Revis explains not only is the decay of the land the fault of one man, but it's also the same man with gold eyes Lang is seeking who wields the supreme origin. Kazan explains that origins are sentient manifestations of nature that have a soul of their own that live inside with the soul of their human hosts, called mystics. Kazan sees Lang's origin as not woken up yet, guiding him to a powerful mountain spirit that can push him to his limit. Defeated and on the brink of death, Lang hears the strange voice again, urging him to call upon his spirit, and doing so, an explosive font of power erupts from Lang, reviving him and summoning his fire origin, Legaia, who demolishes his foe. Kazan is impressed with the raw power of Lang's origin and says the next step is to train in the basics of harnessing and fighting alongside it. Legaia insists his host follow Kazan's mentorship as Lang notices Kazan carries a sword but does not use it in battle. When asked why, Kazan replies the sword is a memento of his former student Rouse and carries it so he does not forget him. Kazan trains Lang in improving his origin control and swordsmanship as Revis thinks that what Lang calls the Aqualith may really be the sacred azure stone, overhearing Doplin speak of it. Fighting to protect nature, Kazan decides that if the man with gold eyes is the source of the Earth's decay, then he will join Lang in finding and stopping him as they return to Doplin Castle. On the way, Kazan shows off his cooking skills and shares with Lang that Maya is a descendant of the Cabal, who have magic that can control everything, but something tragic happened to her in the past when her powers went out of control. Confirming the Aqualith is in the castle, they infiltrate through the sewers but are surprised to find Cabal ruins beneath the castle. Lang learns Maya accidentally killed her entire family when she lost control of her magic, but they are interrupted by Doplin himself alongside his right hand Velna, who reveals the Cabal studied demonology in these ruins thousands of years ago. Doplin seeks their godlike power to manipulate life at will as Velna demonstrates, turning a monster into a demon with a spell circle in the room. It attacks Maya, who reflexively annihilates it with a blinding burst of overwhelming power, but just as amazing, her voice returns to her only for her to continue blaming herself for her dangerous magic. As Doplin falls back, the group pushes ahead as they find the bishop praying to a giant monolith that Maya recognizes as something similar from her home village. Doplin explains when the black sun engraved on the monolith rises, their utopia will be born, producing the Aqualith and saying Avalon gave it to him. Suddenly, a portal appears before them as Velna and the man with the gold eyes step through, revealing he is Avalon. Igor is surprised Lang survived their last encounter, and wishing to test something, Avalon gives the Azure Stone back to Lang, observing it reacts to him in such a unique way that means Lang is something called a Star Shaper. Avalon says Lang is free to have the stone again, as it doesn't matter anymore, for an eclipse will soon cover the planet and birth a new world that will kill all humans except mystics. Declaring himself the ruler of the new world, Avalon invites Lang to join him, but the warrior refuses as Avalon shrugs and leaves, and Velna leaves them with another demon to deal with. The demon is strong against all of their techniques, and as Maya despairs, she suddenly hears voices guide her on how to harmonize the energy of the world within herself, and with the powers to create, destroy, and balance, unlocks her ability to safely wield her elemental magic. Destroying the demon, the group reflects on Avalon's words, as elsewhere, Avalon instructs Velna and a warrior named Rouse to return the other stones to their original altars. Avalon explains to Igor that this is a test for Lang, as if he really is a Star Shaper, then Lang will eventually return to him with all three stones anyway. Back with the group, they journey back to Knoll, Aqualith in hand, as the village celebrates its return. However, the next day, they all observe a strange dark energy gather in the sky as the sun turns black and defeated monsters rise up as undead abominations. They wonder if this is Avalon's forewarned eclipse, but Kazan thinks this is only the beginning. Lang is determined to stop the world from falling into ruin, but Kazan points out they don't know much about the situation. Maya suggests talking to a spirit of the earth called Rame in her hometown of Yuno, and as they set out, they notice monsters around the world are suddenly much stronger than before. Doubling their efforts to fend them off with synchronized attacks, they arrive at Maya's snow-covered home. Kazan, also from the village, apologizes for the tragedy that claimed Maya's parents, but no one blames him, and instead welcome him back as well. Maya takes them to the monolith here, very similar to the one Doplin has, as a tree spirit arrives before them in the form of a young man who recognizes Lang. Through his roots that extend across the world, Rame has learned what's going on, and explains that a terrible power from another world created the Black Sun and is consuming the world by corrupting all living things. Rame adds that the monolith behind him details information about the Source Forge, the creator of the world, and to prove it shares one of his own memories. He shows them the core of the Source Forge, where all life is created, as before, when there was nothing, three sources of power were born: fire, wind, and water. They manifested as the sacred Burning Stone, Azure Stone, and Teal Stone respectively. As they created life, the Source Forge sent it into the world, and it evolved into the world today. However, Avalon has disrupted the balance of the stones, rearranging their delicate placement in the Source Forge, which has caused devastating effects on their world now. Unfortunately, a normal human cannot restore the Source Forge to fix this, only a Star Shaper can, and reveals Lang was born from the Source Forge as one. Rame adds that mystics are beings born as a mix between the forces of nature and humanity, and feels Avalon's hate of the world stemmed from his sad life experience as a mystic. In order to save the world, Rame says Lang needs to properly rearrange the Pyrolith, Aqualith, and Aerolith within the Source Forge, which will reset the forge and remove the Black Sun. The first step will be to collect the three sacred stones, as Rame tells them how to reach the Source Forge. The monolith reveals the locations of the stones, but knowing where the Aqualith is anyway, Lang returns to his village to explain things and ask to borrow it. Understanding, they allow it, and afterwards Maya has an idea where the Pyrolith likely is on a volcanic island. Unfortunately, Doplin has ordered security checkpoints along the path they need to travel, and the group runs into Sharon, a young swordswoman also trying to get past the same checkpoint. Sharon reveals she is a mystic too, and confident in her skills, she invites herself into the group while displaying her lightning origin, a road. The group defeats Doplin's henchman Bubba for a checkpoint pass for them to use, as when they pass the southern checkpoint and enter the town of Free City, Lang recognizes it from his dream of the past about the Mystic Hunt. Continuing south of the port town of Tanza, they find it half destroyed by a tsunami caused by the recent Black Sun. There are no ships fit to sail in town at the moment, as only pirates are still sailing, though the sailors insist they are friendly. As it turns out, Sharon knows where the pirates' hideout is, as she is the captain of them, and after getting updated on everything, shares with them how she is the daughter of the legendary pirate Alphys Blade, which intrigues Kazan. She elaborates that her dream is to restore the pirate empire her father built that somehow fell apart, and for this needs notoriety, and so a legendary feat of global proportions like this is exactly what she needs. Rallying her crew and refitting her ship, the Bloodhawk, Sharon takes the group to Draconia Island. However, in order to proceed, they are forced to detour to the Island of Giants, Jinga, where they are recognized as nature speakers, and their arrival was expected thanks to Raymond informing the natives. They explain the passage barring their way is something called an Earth Crest and can only be opened with Cabal magic, adding the Cabal once tried to control the world through their magic, trading their humanity for immense power. Despite thinking of themselves as superior chosen ones, the Cabal were defeated by humans, and the Giant tribe has since taken the stance of isolation against outsiders. All the same, the chief hands them a gem that will enable them to bypass the Earth Crest, and for the sake of saving the world, sends their tribe's strongest warrior, Silent Eagle, with them. Distrustful of and abrasive to outsiders, Silent Eagle reluctantly agrees, telling the group to call him Ain while they work together, using his massive raw strength to help clear the path forward. Standing guard over the Pyrolith are Elliot and Marianne, as the prideful siblings choose to fight to the death rather than give up their own vision of the future, something the group can respect. Beyond, Doplin spits on the siblings for failing to kill the group, as Velna has a demon absorb the Pyrolith's energy to ascend into a powerful new form before taking her leave. As the group battles the demon, even more power surges into it, turning it berserk as it snatches Doplin, who begins burning alive in its grasp. Velna reappears to mock the self-important bishop as he dies, revealing this is intentional as he has outlived his usefulness to Avalon. The group destroys the demon and claims the Pyrolith, though as they wonder where the Aerolith could be, Ain suggests the Wind Tower to the north of Jinga. Asking the Elder Giant for more information, he agrees it likely resides in Ellsworth, a tower floating in mid-air as a testament to the Cabal's power. Hearing this, the party thinks they now need a means of flying to the tower as they pass by the resort island of Fortune, where they see the winner of a fighting tournament gets a flying dragon mount. Lang prevails in the gauntlet, though the event is halted as a knight in black armor enters uninvited, issuing his own challenge. The Black Knight is impressed by Lang's strength as his helmet is knocked off, revealing his true identity to be Kazan's former pupil, Rouse, whom Kazan thought he killed. They are interrupted by Velna, who orders Rouse back to guarding the Aerolith, stating he lives only because of the cursed black armor. To the side, Kazan reflects how Rouse turned to the dark path using forbidden techniques and paid the price by sacrificing his sanity. As a mercy and as his master, Kazan struck him down before he became uncontrollably insane, switching topics and showing Lang the ultimate technique of the Tenga Ryu swordsman style. The next day, the group meets its new red dragon mount as it flies into Ellsworth, and the group faces down Rouse again. The black armored swordsman turns berserk, and seeing no other choice against such power, Lang unleashes the ultimate technique Kazan showed him, using his master's finishing move to finally finish his unfinished business. Dying, Rouse's mind returns to him as he expresses the regrets in his life and thanks Kazan for allowing him to rest in peace. The party claims the Aerolith as Lang suddenly exclaims he hears the Sourceforge calling to him, sensing he must take the stones to Demiurge Tower. Dropping into the giant chasm, the group faces Velna in their way, who wonders why the group is full of chosen ones yet fights to save normal doomed humans. The group replies by asking why Avalon feels the world needs to be destroyed and rebuilt, and the sorceress claims all life will be combined into one, where no death, fear, pride, or greed will exist because all life will transcend beyond normal individuality. The group defeats her in battle as Velna cries out about enduring for thousands of years just to suffer this critical loss, revealing she is an actual survivor of the Cabal race. She confesses she survived with this artificial body made through magic, sustained only by a hateful grudge against humans for wiping out her people, and was seeking revenge, not a new world. Ain agrees that sadness leads to hate and hate into suffering, stressing the only release is to help, forgive, and love. As they watch the vengeful ghost disappear, they proceed up the tower, now facing down Avalon standing before the Sourceforge. Avalon reveals his supreme origin has absorbed the Sourceforge's power and memory, and from it learned the Sourceforge never intended for beings with wills of their own like humans to emerge. With their will, humans would lose sight of the meaning of living in this world, with their selfish chaos causing such ruination. Maya counters there are many selfish and destructive humans, but there are also many kind and helpful ones too. Avalon shoots back that they should not view the world from the perspective of humans, but instead as mystics, saying it is too late to stop the eclipse even with the stones. Both sides clash, and Avalon reveals with the power of creation he can easily restore himself no matter the damage taken, blowing them away easily. Lang gets up with unwavering determination, and in response, the 3 sacred stones rise up and combine, speaking to them as the will of all living creatures that inhabit the world. It channels the world's will to live into the party that fights for its survival, and smothers Avalon with the light of the power of hope, suppressing his power of creation. Lang declares this proves there are more beings with wills to survive than just humans, and refusing to submit, Avalon concludes he must therefore destroy all life on this planet, leaving only himself. Fusing with the Supreme Origin and Source Forge, Avalon ascends into a new form, but the combined will of the world empowers Lang, Maya, Kazan, Sharon, and Aang to edge out a win over the would-be architect of the new world. With Avalon destroyed, they return the sacred stones to their proper place atop the Source Forge, but they see it has no power left. Choosing to believe in the power of hope, Lang leads the group into pouring their will to live into the Source Forge as things white out and he finds himself in a strange area. Rain is there as well, explaining he is in the place between life and death from which all living things are continually reincarnated from. Rain adds it's not Lang's time to be here, sending him away with a small gift, a physical fragment of hope, as Lang sees Rouse is there too to give some encouraging words. As he wakes up, Lang sees the group is at Kazan's house and the Black Sun is gone. Kazan says things may not return to normal, but for now they stopped it from being completely destroyed. Davis shares Demiurge Tower collapsed and the Source Forge may have been destroyed, but there is no way for them to know for sure and for how much longer the world will survive. Maya and Kazan feel the Source Forge wasn't destroyed, and instead the power of hope now lives in every living thing. Galea adds that so long as the will to live continues to grow stronger, the world will return to normal on its own. As the sun shines on a new day, Lang smiles, declaring their new world is here for everyone to create together. Legaia 2 Duel Saga has enjoyed the success of selling over 260,000 copies worldwide.